مشاهدي فضائية جمهورية جنوب السودان، أحييكم عبر برنامج نبني بلدنا، برنامجنا اللي بيتناول بعض القضايا بتهم المواطن وبتهم البلد. وفي مقدمة هذه البرنامج الأستاذ كارلو أريغواني، وزميلي كهوست أمباسادور جون أندروغادوكو، وعندنا ضيف عزيز معزز مكرم علينا Honorable Napoleon. You are really highly most welcome in this program of Building the Nation.
Thank you very much.
Say hi to viewers around the world and across South Sudan.
Thank you. I extend my greeting to all the South Sudanese and viewers across the world and South Sudan. I wish you, it may be late, but I may wish you a Happy New Year, and we look forward to make the year 2025 a connected year.
Wonderful. Ambassador, can you say hi to our viewers?
Yes, I want also to add my voice to welcome Honorable Napoleon, who is somebody not new to Ssbc, but we want him to be free, feel at home. But before I say that, I would like to start by, on behalf of the Building the Nation, convey our condolences to the family of the Greater Pioneers Petroleum Company for the great loss which happened yesterday in this unfortunate plane crash in Bentiu. We want to offer our condolences, and then to the families, and also to the company, and also the Minister of Petroleum, and indeed to the entire community of South Sudan,
yes,
and particularly to the President, because we lost very highly qualified engineers, South Sudanese, who were very, very instrumentally in our oil production.
Including the pilots also.
Including the pilot as well. In addition to that, I also wanted to, I spoke to the new DG of the National Airport Authority, and we appeal that there must be a swift investigations, and really this plane who are parked in Juba International Airport, their airworthiness must be certified. We have been losing too many people on this domestic flight, and this need to be last. We hope this will be the last one. So there must be really robust investigation to avoid this thing repeating itself.
We hope so. Yeah. Honorable Napoleon, of course you are welcome to this program of ours. In here we are carrying civic education to our South Sudanese regarding your institutions.
Thank you.
Please, can you explain to us and to the viewers around the world and across South Sudan regarding the functions and the duties of your institutions as one of the important government institutions in this country, because it's not well known to the
Carlo,
people.
before Napoleon do that, public need to know. The National Communication Authority, where Napoleon is Director General, has recently made sweeping directives, which many people are grumbling about it, but that's why Napoleon is here. They have.
I will come for that point.
Yeah, but it is
first of all, wait. Let him explain to us that from that point which you are saying, we shall be going there gradually, slowly, so that our viewers will get what Honorable Napoleon is going to explain to them. Please,
you can see how issues related to national communication, even two of you cannot agree at the beginning. And that is the nature of communication.
Yeah.
The National Communication Authority, of course, is a government parastatus, which is semi-autonomous. It's supervised by the Ministry of ICT and Postal Services, Honorable Michael Makwe, who is my supervisor on policy and guidance.
He representing you also in the Council of Ministers.
Yes, and he represents me in Council of Ministers. We are equally answerable to the President of the Republic. And it has an oversight body. It has a board of directors chaired by an independent person that is outside the government. Currently, the former Vice Chancellor of Jama Juba, Professor John Aprot Akech, is our chair. And the board is represented with the government agencies, among them the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Finance, the National Security, Chambers of Business, Commerce, Civil Society. So it's really a very well-established board. And
it is with the scales.
It is with the scale, and the board actually control all my operations. And of course, I am the head of the executive of the authority. So I am the CEO and the accounting officer of that body. Of course, the functions are quite broad. Number one, that the National Communication Authority is the government body that domesticates international laws related to telecommunications.
Good.
And these international laws are governing rules on electromagnetics, which is the telephony, the radio waves, the satellites, the numbering plan. You know, when you get your telephone number, it's not just a random number. It is a number which is planned with the preservation that those numbers should not run out. So we give numbers, and these numbers are also resource. So then when we give too many numbers, maybe our great-grandchildren may not be able to have numbers enough, which may sound a bit abstract, but we can explain that another time. Yeah. So that we are also the one doing numbering plan. We are also supposed to issue postal codes, which is one of the mandates. That's why it's called Ministry of ICT and Postal Services.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to issue postal code and regulate postal articles. So when somebody sends a post from abroad to here, there should be postal code.
Yeah.
Part of it, which we have not done because our country, the postal code goes together with town planning. So imagine issuing a postal code in Mio Saba and Jebel Denka, where the road keep changing every day. So in a nutshell, that's what NCA is all about. We serve for 5 years term. And service that should say that you will be praised 24/7 because you represent the 15 million South Sudanese and entities of the government. And some decisions sometimes are their grievances.
Yeah. Wonderful. Ambassador,
my point is that, Napoleon, you have made very important point. Number one, in the light of what you just said, the communication is very complicated webs. People in South Sudan are raising concern. And maybe whether it is genuinely from the point of ignorance, people don't understand this thing.
Globally, the telecommunication cost is costed in dollar because telephone 4 cents per minute. 4 cents per minute. The last time that tariff was set in South Sudan was 2016. We've never changed that tariff. What has changed though is as our currency lost value, then the amount of pound that you used to pay for that 4 cents keep raising. The same way, you remember the time when water bottle, the value reached to 54 pounds per minute, okay? But reached to 54 pounds per minute, okay? But the volume, the fixed rate is still the same. So we are within the region. If you look up the tariff on GSM portal, you'll see all that is affecting us. It is affecting us. But still, also the purchase power also is a factor. How many people are making income in South Sudan? I would assume, without any contradiction, that the majority employees in South Sudan work for government.
Yes.
And if so, if people have not been, some people have not got their salary up to now, you can imagine that the purchase power is shrinking from an income point of view. And then it is increasing from the product point of view.
The PIT, which is supposed to be paid for the government, also decreases.
This is a factor that keeps buried in our discussion. We don't want to accept the reality that everything that we are consuming is brought from other place.
Yeah.
So when you convert that into telecom, some people may say, how? The human resources, yes, even human resources. So there are so many factors that make all these things expensive. Now, Ambassador, people have made so much comparison about that, oh, this thing costs this much in this neighboring country, costs that much, which is true. Optic bill by government at the cost below, which is related to the consumer. Now on ours, all our networks are built by private sector. So the investor comes, the first thing they want to do with us is that they want to recover their money.
Yeah.
And therefore, they put it on top. When you demand, they will do like what Vivacell did to us by parking and leaving.
Places. MTN put its own tower, Zen put its own tower, Digital put its own tower. As a regulatory body, why don't they share this tower to avoid several towers in one place? Is it because you are not exercising oversight on this, or they are resisting on this? Please clarify this.
First of all, there is a policy that according to coverage. In fact, we are now encouraging them not to build this steel structure in the city. We are telling them go for rooftop. You've been in Kampala, Nairobi. How many towers do you see?
No.
They are not there.
On the rooftop?
Yeah. It's because we were having a flat land and there was no come in between blocking. They are not made just for fun. They are also made high for a reason. The regulator receive that equipment and check with the manufacturer.
Because we are not connected to any network so that it can be used anywhere. We can use.
There's a global policy that lend that cable and bring it to our border and extend it to places like Central Africa. Our policy has been, how can we take advantage to convert our landlocked by Ethiopian highland, and also now we are connected to Mombasa. Equally also we are trying to connect to the Atlantic. That will give us a higher redundancy as a country. So in fact it is an advantage. So it will connect us to Central Africa, because already there's another cable that is already arrived in Bangui. And by the way, it is also arriving in reliable than Mombasa in that sense, because we are connected to different sources. If one has problem, the other one will work. So what is now come, these are private cables that are at cost. And that's why you remember, if you've been using Thuraya in the early 2000s, you hear there used to be a lot of noise. Then the faster the internet, the more second or million.
This program build a nation.
This is why I think fiber optic should be our end goal. We should target it.
The dry season, the people burn grasses.
Yes.
And some of these poles got burned. And I've seen physically on the 28th, of December, I was driving from Kerepi coming to Juba. One for the entire Juba, for that matter.
Yeah.
That's one. Number two, Napoleon. Recently I was in, not recently, but some time back I was in Nairobi. There's a technology called EcoPole. EcoPole, I encourage you as the chief executive officer and the leadership in our connection of this, what you talk about the fiber, because in some countries, fibers are done underground. But given our situation of
Ambassador, I want to remind you that I am a regulator, so I hope you are not advertising
No.
EcoPole.
No.
I am guided by law because I represent everybody and I need to guide.
I'm just saying this to you, technically.
Yeah.
My question at the end of the day.
Underground. We don't just put the cable down. It has a specific depth, which is 1.5 meter. And it has that depth. We know that even when you put it, you have to put what they call warning tapes, so that in case you excavate, you will, before you cut the cable, you should be able to pick up the reflective. Because digging and there is landmine on the road, so they wanted to rush. That's why the poles were done. In fact, in 2021, you might recall, I had to stop somebody who wanted to take poles from Juba all the way to Wow. You are talking about fire. What if you go to places where you keep back on electricity poles? Even in Juba now, you see people have put poles so many places.
Yes.
But actually, it's not supposed to be like that. We are supposed to ride along with electricity poles. Okay? You will everything everywhere. So now we are requesting.
In Gudele Road there, you will see.
Yes, now we are requesting that the companies, please, we need to go in for color coding to distinguish what is the one for the power. In case lo generally go abil gi waga circuit, chan ma yem chemsi kugal debas with data. It can electrocute people. So now we are trying to channel this, asking these people, please don't mix the cable. Choose. You might see now we have some cable that are beginning to introduce coloring. So the overhead, Ambassador, we has remained as redundancy. It was brought by a company called Moya Telecom, and they are now
protection of national security.
In the Act, you will see that we also protect national security interests. In the Act, you will see that we also protect national security interests in regard to space and cyber issues. So that is overheating our country. Is coordinated with us, and we have to make sure our country is coordinated with us, and we have to make sure that thing is our public is protected. You cannot just dump any equipment here. There is an international law which is followed. These are aspects of national security. If there is, for example, there's a year when these balloons were flying around. Some people were slaughtering goats because they have seen some spirit. They thought, you remember the balloon that came?
Yeah.
Some were shooting at it, others were because they've never seen such a big balloon. But actually those balloons were telecommunication balloons launched by Google. And they were in an altitude of 60,000 feet. 60,000 feet is considered international space because it's overflows and our people will see it may cause panic as it did. So everybody thought they were right above their head. It's like, remind me of the days of Antinope. When we see Antinope and everybody say, well, I walk for us to die. Because anything up, everybody will see it, particularly to your position.
The dogs even know Antinope. The dogs even know Antinope.
So this is where interest of national, which allowed freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. So those are done. But especially when you use the technology to do the contrary and in fluid people, then we becoming now if there's a part we can do to ensure public safety and stability in our country.
Yeah.
That's why we took the measure, particularly when those images, some of them I could not even finish watching. I could not finish watching. It was very bad. Even myself, I could not watch it. Because now, leave alone, we are adults in this room. And we all have kids. Okay? So if my daughter, who is now 7 years, if she sees that, what happened? Or your kids, what happened? Okay? A 15-year-old, and that's what you see. So without even the protest, those images should not have been there. And there is a law globally that limits those things. And we have to take action to reduce those. Of course, it did not go down well with people.
And that one is a national.
But we really wanted to help our people
interest.
in the national security interest because it affects masses.
Yeah.
The same way everybody came out in the street. It's not that I support what happened in Sudan. I am also not happy with what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are not happy. Let us just go for a short break and
Thank
we shall
you.
be back.
Thank you.
فاصل بسيط نعود بإذن الله.
Thank you.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
Into the net. South Sudan take the lead. Again.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.
مرحبا بكم مشاهدي Ssbc around the world and across South Sudan في برنامجنا الشيق نبني بلدنا. Napoleon, you have been talking about this national security. Now, let me just ask you this question. Complaint from the citizens when you block the two companies not to exercise what they have been explaining. What is your response to them?
First of all,
Because this one is very nice.
We did not block.
So that
First of all, we did not block the two companies.
okay.
I want to tell you that TikTok and Facebook are not companies registered in South Sudan. That's first thing. These are companies registered in America and operating in America, and we use their services here. So what we have blocked is their operations in our internet for obvious reasons. First, we did not block the entire social media. Social media is a term used to describe the use of application for social connectivity. There are so many of them. They are out there. You have WhatsApp, you have Instagram, you have X, which is former Twitter, so many of them that are used either to share. So, but we only block those applications that are in our country that are being used to share videos and to send out motion pictures a lot. We have a total of 2.7 million people that are using those two applications combined. And the reason we stopped those one is because, one, to find a quicker way to stop the circulation of those videos. Two, to compel the service providers to work with us so that we convince Facebook to remove them. Because Facebook is not here, is not complying with our laws. They are not in our country.
Yeah.
They are there, they have their own standards. And since these contents were not being watched in America, okay, they are only being watched in our country. So that's why we took action to ask the service providers. Now people may be thinking that the Facebooks have an office here. They don't have office here. They only have a service that is coming as a form of connectivity through the Shirkad al-Fini. The telecom companies have actually a copy of Facebook inside South Sudan. It's known as a cache. A cache is a copy of the main server that is brought here to give you an illusion that you are connecting, to reduce for the speed.
Yeah.
These are connectivity, so that's why you have, they call it free mode. Yeah, because you have free mode, because the MTN or Zain is making you to connect to their copy of Facebook free, even when you have no money. Okay? The reason they do that so that they increase the number of subscribers, to people will pay, because you pay money, you will buy more bundles. So it's a form of making money. Those boxes, they are sitting here. And now we are asking them that since you have these boxes here, together we must shut them down so that we talk to mother company to help us remove those pictures.
Okay.
Which now we were able to do. They cooperated and we interact with Facebook and other third parties to remove some of those images. In total, we removed more than 200, and we are still now going into and engaging with the Meta, which is the owner of Facebook, to come up with a standardized way of doing it.
Wonderful.
Ustaz, it might be important for you to know that these so-called free applications, they are not as free as you think. They are free because you access them, but they are not really free. The Meta business model is based on collecting information which they share with advertisers. It's like a television. So the more viewers, the higher the cost of advertising. So our population is very small, and the people online are very few. So we don't rank very much in the Meta business plan, unlike Nigeria with 100 million, or Ethiopia, or Kenya with over 40 million. So our population as a country is very slow, very low, and our population on the online, on those platforms, which is 2.7 million, is really
Just a peanut.
very small. So no advertiser is going to sell anything to South Sudanese of those 2 million. And it is one of the reasons why our kids are not getting monetized results.
Yes.
They are not able, because these people don't have offices here.
Let me ask you.
It's one of the
before you ask him, you
yes,
have to come
it
in.
is one of the conditions that we have also had. We said
There is something
our
very-
kids are generating content. There's wrestling, there is comedy.
Yes,
They have very huge followers.
Yeah.
They must now they have to go to Kampala or Nairobi in order to get monetized, get money in return.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Honorable Napoleon, regarding the act which can really regulate the social media in the country, do we have that act, or is still on the way?
It
Because
is-
here what we have, it is a National Communication
Yes,
Act.
you don't have you don't make an act for each. You actually generate regulations on each. The act is implemented through regulations. So we have 11 regulations that are in force now,
Yeah.
covering the major issue: licensing, numbering plans, postal services. So those regulations are there. But if you go to Section 9G,
Yeah.
which is what I quoted,
Yeah.
and many people condemn me for that. I was quoting the National Communication Act.
You are
not-
implementing the law.
Not the.
You are applying the law.
Yes, and it gives me powers to regulate
Yeah.
internet names.
And this is what is missing, by the
Okay,
way.
and the operations.
Yeah.
Okay, and
This
it
is-
give me powers. If you can read it, Ambassador, Section 9G is very explicit in what mandate we do, and
No,
it give me the mandate to
easily,
limit
because
when
we are-
we see that this thing is not in line with our culture and norms. There's no culture in South Sudan which say you want to watch people being slaughtered. No,
you
it's
see,
not there.
you are being blamed because the law are not taught to the public.
Yes.
You are applying the law,
Yes.
and which is your act.
Yes.
You are applying it, and you apply it. This is why people are shouting
I
because
equally
they know nothing
accept-
about it.
I equally
Time
accept
has come. Time has come. Your institution will try to disseminate this
create
information.
awareness.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
awareness.
I equally accept that I failed to disseminate my mandate enough
Yes,
adequately. And many people think that we are making this decision arbitrary.
Yeah.
We are
Just
not making
emotionally,
them
but it is not
arbitrary. No,
emotionally.
we
You are
cannot,
applying the law.
because it is like every soldier. You know, a civil servant, even you see soldiers going around with their gun, they can't go firing anywhere. There is a law.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. So the same, if you are a civil servant, you cannot go, even if you have a law like this, I must seek policy guidance from my minister, I must escalate it up to the head of state. This is what we will do.
Good. Ambassador.
Napoleon, I
Yes,
think,
Ambassador.
this program is very, very important. I really feel that it gives opportunity for you and then we, the citizen, to understand what is communication authority, National Communication Authority. Now, going forward on this, there is area which we want you to help us with, to understand as part of civic education. If you see our telephone providers, network service provider, whether it's MTN, whether it is Zain, whether it is digital, they have something, what they call Momo in MTN. And then there's M-Grus, and there's the digital money. This is something which is used for transaction. The question here is, Napoleon, we are still having the culture whereby you carry money like you're taking vegetable to market. The dollar, our dollar and pound is becoming like selling tomato in the market. People are selling dollar and pound just like they're selling tomato. Now dollar become a commodity where people are selling it. Now you as a communication authority, what is the relationship between you and then the regulatory body, which is the Bank of South Sudan or Central Bank of South Sudan, in relation to this transaction called M-Grus, mobile money generally, and how, because I just heard in the news, we hope one day the governor or the deputy governor will come here, will explain to people of South Sudan, because they have a policy now, they're saying they're going to transit from paper money to digital money. And this cannot happen without your input. How are you cooperating with this money transfer institutions and the central bank in relation to this? So that we customers, because now if I say I go for online banking, how sure am I that when I open my porthole for transaction, I'm not another tricky guy will
hijack.
He will hijack this thing, and I withdraw, he will also withdraw.
Let us give him time to explain to us because we are running out
like
of
those
time.
who are saving the hair of devil. You save from this side, and that one come the other side. And you withdraw from here, somebody withdraw there.
And those are the things that we need to prepare our citizens
Thank you.
for.
Thank you, Ambassador. Yes, the mobile money,
Yes.
as the word suggests,
Yes.
is money and mobile.
Yes.
The question is that a mobile of the owner of the money or a mobile of the money?
Yes.
Now, for us, it is the meeting point between monetary regulator and technology regulator.
Yes.
In mobile money, yes, NCA has a role to play.
Yes.
We license the infrastructure under which the digital transaction take place, which we call mobile money platform. The central bank license the monetary function of it. How much, what are the limitations, the withdrawal, the fees, and the transaction in compliance with AML, what the anti-money laundering something. So all those are the function of that. So when it become operational, it become a financial institution. In fact, we call them financial technology, abbreviated as fintech. So this is a very good transition away from cash economy,
Yes.
and especially where money become bulk.
Yes.
It'll make it easier for people to pay. But like everything else, it requires transition. We tend to overjump and not realize the transition. Do you remember the year, I think 2001, we used to have a money called Kuala money, Rumbek?
Yes.
You remember?
That money we know.
Yeah, and the way people used to resist, because we were coming from barter economy to monetary economy. Somebody want to believe in seeing a goat rather than this paper that can get soaked, that can disappear.
And the color
that's
change.
it. Now, first we have moved now to believing in physical money. Now you are telling me people are now going to physical, that the money, abstract money, that is not touched, is not felt. It is in some object called phone. You see, that transition requires extensive education. Require extensive education for somebody to believe that he does not need to have a sack of pound, but it can be in his small phone. Even if the phone is stolen, he can just walk to the people and get it. All this require investment, and we must recognize the transition. Our people. It is good technology that people are embracing, and I'm glad to hear that the central bank is looking into that. My question as the person entrusted with protection of cybersecurity of my country is to ask that when you go into digital money, have you prepared your digital watchman? Do you have a digital police? Do you have a digital tax collector? All this, so there has to be a platform, infrastructure must be in place. You cannot have a traffic rules without a road. You must have a road, then you will have, you can have a, you can see that there are more traffic policemen in Juba than outside, than the road itself. And they are all on the tarmac side. They are not, you don't find them. If you go that Panya road in Jebel Dinka, nobody there. In fact, those who have no license nowadays, they have come up with the art of driving across there. They don't touch the tarmac. Otherwise, they will meet the police. So it's the same thing. We must have a digital infrastructure in order to enjoy to the fully, with the confidence, the digital currency and digital economy. And that's why we are investing. The ministry itself now is driving the digitalization of services, not only money. You should be able to apply for your passport from the comfort of your house and just go to collect it.
The same as a visa?
Yes. Why do you have to travel from a will to come and apply for passport in Juba? You can be enrolled there and it can be printed. So these are required digital infrastructure. We go back again to the baseline. Without a good connectivity, a cheap and affordable connectivity, all these are a very good dream without sleeping bed.
And this is what I was trying to ask you about, the stability and the connectivity which you have just mentioned.
Yes. But
now this one now will involve Ministry of Education.
Yes.
That we need to revisit our curriculum system, so that we start preparing kindergarten generation from kindergarten, so that after 10 to 20 years, then we can reach to what you are just saying.
Yes. No. The good thing is that as a new member in the world, as a new country, this attitude of saying we use it as an excuse, it should become an advantage in technology. That means we don't have the burden of legacy. You remember those places where they used to have that big phone with kring and bigger Mafi. We came at the age of wireless. So we are supposed to connect to the world where the world is, not where the world used to be. And that is why I am not very popular with many of these guys importing gadgets. They say, oh, well, it is cheap, it's good for your country. I had a very big discussion with some church leaders who got a radio broadcaster from Canada, and they want to donate it to somewhere in our will. A shortwave radio. Shortwave radio was very good in the 80s and 90s. Now they were discovered that they are not very safe. So these people want to donate us shortwave radio in the 21st century. And I'm saying, no, it cannot be. The guy was telling me, it is free. Garbage, It is free. The radio now is installed in Madol, and we have to shut it down because it's not healthy. The technology has been improved. People have moved to frequency modulation, which is called FM. So it gives us a very big dispute. And the guys who have been given donation are so excited that wallahi jabalina hadia. Like that hadia is outdated.
In 2009, Ambassador, when you were the head of Mission Nairobi, do you know what happened? ناس بيت المطافي في بريطانيا عدى زيادة من كام 30 عربية بيت المطافي لحكومة الكينية. زمن داك مو كبايري رئيس. فأنت عارف حصل شنو؟ ده عربية صنعوه سنة 1945. عملوا فيه بوهية جميل.
ما تقول اسم كينيا تاني عشان ما يقول we are saying something.
أي لا ما مشكلة. كينيا is a friendly country. بس طبعا يا هو قاعد يقول ده قصة حقيقية طبعا بروفيسور قاعد يقول لنا. وفي النهاية هو قال شنو؟ قال يا أخي الدونيشن ده إن شكرناهم لكن من جا لاحظوا لإنه they are taking garbage.
Yeah, it's scrap, and this is what is happening now.
هم ملقوا محل عشان يخطوا فيه الgarbage ده.
It is called dumping.
Yeah, it's dumping, electronic dumping, and we are now driving the issue of electronic waste because.
عشان كده هم شطار قال يا أخي شكرا إحنا لو عايزين المسألة دي هنكتب لكم المواصفات اللي إحنا عاوزينه. ودي سبب أنا كلمت بالعربي.
Let me in this one bring me to the question this Napoleon. Now we are here as a country. I wanted to just compliment what you say. That we cannot say we started analog because we are young country.
We are young and no.
We must start where the world is.
And that's why today we are among the countries with a space slot, orbital slot.
Yes.
We have now a space in the orbit where we can launch our satellite. If tomorrow our president get resources and say, I want to have a satellite in the 2027, we can launch it because we already have the orbit slot.
Yeah.
We secure our place.
Yeah. So for the audience who are following this program, wherever there is, South Sudan is the only country in Africa which raised its flag electronically. That's something very important for people to know.
Yeah.
That flag,
9 of July.
the 9th of July, that flag which is
We are
standing in the
witness for
museum
that.
there, it was,
Everybody was filming.
it was raised by remote control.
Yes.
And at the same time, the time frame of the flag moving from down up to level there is tuned to the national anthem. They tune the national anthem. From the beginning, when it ends, the flag open. This is something which you must be very proud as the head of the NCA. Now, Napoleon, as our time is coming closer, I want to put this to you. Ssbc radio is a very important radio for the Republic of South Sudan. The FM radius is very limited. And if you look at the Mirai, you look at the iRadio, these are private radio, it have got longer coverage than the government broadcast. As the head of NCA, how can you help with the, because what these other companies done is that they use this, what we talked earlier, the towers to relay some of these broadcast FM radio to reach the whole country. Why can't we do the same, and why can't this telecommunication company provide corporate social responsibility to enhance public information for the bigger audience? Because the difference between this commercial broadcast and the government broadcast is that the government broadcast, it is public service.
And on top of that, Ambassador, the TV which we have is good for the people in diaspora. And the most beneficiaries of our Ssbc TV is Upper Nile State because they have powers, but the rest of the states no. And the strategical plans of the government is peace. Peace is the most strategical plans of the government. Radio will be more powerful to reach the rural areas because the bulk of population in this country is in rural areas. And now we are approaching those of elections, census, constitutional making process. I think radio will help. As Ambassador put it, this social corporate of national communication services to these institutions.
First of all, I want to state that at least before election, this is the plan that I know.
It is appreciated if it is going to be
Technically speaking, Radio Miraya is a UN back, and they are doing relay via satellite. It's all come to resources. They have money and they can transmit there and then rebroadcast. They have broadcasted the region to relay. So this is the same investment. It's just about resources. It can also be done for the national television and national radio. So technology is there, Ambassador, to relay national TV. The question is
no radio for the TV.
The national
don't have
TV
problem.
and radio can be relayed across the country. But the question is an investment, the resources. You've seen Ssbc now, they still have a number of studios that are not even furnished. They have the new studio that has been waiting there. Our minister has been working hard to try to raise resources, mobilize goodwill, so that we move to new studios. Okay? At least so that there are multiple studios, so that the TV can be able to access more services like Arabic. We also license them. They are given frequency by the National Communication Authority. Yes. So they have more than 23 frequencies, with 24 with the one they are using digital frequency, because the world is moving away from analog. So now we have a digital transmitters and digital frequencies which can be used, and also even the radio is supposed to go digital. The reason we encourage FM because it's cheap, it's easy, it can also be relayed. So all this required come back again to resources, required an investment. It's not, the TV is not just only for for entertainment, but also it is a form of education.
Excuse me for my ignorance if I ask the wrong question.
Yes.
But let me ask this. What is the difference between FM radio and digital radio? What's the difference? That's one. Number two, Napoleon, the situation we have here is, in some countries, the same satellites, which is broadcasting the TV, can also do it for radio through satellites.
Yes.
So technically, I'm asking you here because you're a technical person here now.
Yeah, and I don't want to appear criticizing SSBC
No,
on their own channel.
not criticizing. Because you see,
We are partners.
Napoleon,
Yeah.
this program is called Building the Nation.
Yes.
When we build the nations, one of our core principles is to provide fact to people of South Sudan so that we build this nation in the correct foundation. It's not a criticism. Because
Yes.
it is like you go to the doctor. The doctor must prescribe for you the correct sickness. No, first diagnose the correct sickness so you can prescribe the right medicine. You are now like a doctor when it comes to technology. So where is the problem?
I am a doctor and a patient at the same time.
No,
because I am a part of the institution.
We are running out of time, but we give him chance to
Let me just say
to
this
react
one,
on
Yeah.
that.
so they
huh?
acted.
Yeah.
My question here is, we population are crying. Technicians in FSBC radio are crying. They want to find a means to broadcast this SSBC across the country. It's a very good program,
Yes.
even in radio.
And especially the radio.
Yes.
the radio.
So
Yeah.
what does it take to get the radio through the satellite?
It's okay.
Yeah. As an
Please,
administrator.
in addition to what I've
Yes.
just said, we learn through our mistakes.
Yes.
Let us discover our mistakes.
The problem is that some of us are living in the mistake. So, in addition to what you are saying, is that the issue is not about, there are a lot of things that you can do with this station. We can improve it.
Correct.
I am, as an administrator, my first resource that I work for is first to make sure that the people who are doing this, the gentlemen behind this camera, the journalists, the engineers, first of all, want to see their welfare.
Very good.
Have they been paid? Ambassador, even if you have a television that can reach anywhere in the world with an unpaid cameraman, you still run the risk. So that is first priority. The second one is that technology required capital investment. So we have a habit of drawing comparison with other countries, forgetting the fact that we have a competing priority as a new state.
Correct.
So for example, today, Ambassador, if you happen to have $10 million and I put you somewhere in Gwalior or in Akobo, will your priority be to set up a television transmission or to set up a clinic for that pregnant woman and the children and clean water? So sometimes I understand the government when the competition of things becoming, there are priorities, competing priorities. And we made this argument with Parliament. And that's why when we presented the budget, because the budget of the ministry is presented as consolidated, all the parastatals are summarized and we all go ahead of the agent accounting officers behind our minister to justify why we are looking for money. And one of the arguments was that you people are saying you are going for election as a country, at least the policymakers, the politicians. We said, how are you going to talk to your voters when your radio is only can hardly reach Kurijik and Luri?
Luria.
Okay. Your TV can only be seen with those who have generators and those who have satellite. So in fact, the people you are saying seeing the TV are those with the generators inside South Sudan and electricity, because we have no grid.
And they're the minority.
They are extreme minority.
Yeah.
Okay. The common people that you are talking about don't have access to that.
Correct.
Because even if the signal is there, there's no power. Even if the power is there, it has no affordability to buy a screen.
Correct.
So we need really to, there has to be a multi-pronged approach to build the people capacity to do that. That's why the ministry has a policy to build information centers, where at least people can congregate. You remember during the basketball, our people fill the roundabouts.
Yeah.
You know why? Not because they are driving cars, because there is a free screen there.
Okay.
Imagine if you could build those screens across,
Wonderful.
so that when our president is making national address, somebody can stop and watch it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you will watch and then you go and tell your wife at home that, Wallahi, Rais Gal Kida Alayya.
خلاص
Thank you.
Honorable Napoleon, just your final message to our viewers around the world and across South Sudan in just 30 seconds.
Okay, the final word is that I want to assure our public that we do have your interests and we will do what is possible to improve access to connectivity. At least as a head of technology, my role is to make sure that our people don't just have affordable technology, they also have a safe technology that protect their interests.
Yeah.
Whether you are doing mobile money, you are doing internet, you should be safe. This is my mandate that I can say.
Thank you for your mandate,
Thank
which is a
you.
wonderful mandate.
Thank you very much,
وبعدين
Ambassador.
كده مشاهدينا
Nice to
الاعزاء
meet
هنا
you.
وصلنا لنهايه البرنامج بتاعنا نبني بلدنا. ان شاء الله هنواصل معاكم في الاسابيع القادمه. الى اللقاء.
Thank you.
شكرا ambassador. And thank you honorable Napoleon. Thank you.
The head coach of Blair Academy basketball.